Uh, Philip, Philip, I'll be sharing last night's recording link with you.
Okay.
Kindly share it with everybody tonight. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so where was I? I'm going to say this all the time. I say this to everybody I work with, my business associates, whoever, right? Everything is about quick access to your relevant memory lanes, your relevant memory, right? If somebody asks you to talk about Superman, immediately, which memory sector you go to? Your childhood memories. Those days when you used to watch Cartoon Network. If somebody asks you to talk about life, immediately, which memory sector do you go to? Your latest or your biggest challenges or your fear in life, right? Or something that could be wishful thinking, something that you've always wished could happen. You immediately go to that memory section. If somebody asks you to talk about love, what do? You immediately go to somebody you love. Of course, that's common sense, and you start talking about it. Okay. So everything is about quick access to the most relevant memories. Okay. Now, I right here is intro, IBC, it's intro, right? So it's not just about giving an introduction to the topic, right? It's not just about introducing ourselves. There are a lot more happening here. The whole purpose behind introduction in IBC is to gain curiosity, to arouse curiosity, so that your people, your listeners, sorry, your audience would be curious about what you're going to say next, what you're going to say in the next 2 to 3 minutes, right? Not in the next 5 minutes, because if you can arouse somebody's curiosity to the level that they wonder what is he going to speak in the next 1 or 2 minutes, that's it. You can speak for 1 hour, right? The importance is arousing their curiosity for the next 2 minutes. Okay. What you have to make them look forward to, what are you going to present? So in the introduction stage, that's the first goal, to arouse curiosity. The other thing is content. Content. The problem with public speakers, me, you, whoever need to give public speaking, it happens to me as well. A lot of times, I know somehow I cover it because I know how to do it with experience, but it happens to me as well. There are many times when I run out of words, right? That is because I cannot generate content. At the introduction stage, what you're doing here are two things. You want to make your brain think not in just one direction, in multiple directions. You want to make your, I repeat, you want to make your brain or mind think not only in one direction, but in multiple directions. Okay, so for example, if the topic is pencil, and I say, good evening, everyone, I'm going to talk about pencil. When I say this, what I'm doing with myself, my mind, is I'm going to zoom only on pencil, pencil, right? How much can you talk about pencil anyway? How much can you talk about pens? How much can you talk about a particular car? That's one thing. Number two, you are going to gain the right, RIGHT, rights, right? You're going to get a right to talk about the other things than your topic pencil, right? For example, instead of saying, if I say, instead of saying, today, good evening, everyone, I'm going to talk about pencil. When I say pencil, what you're expecting to hear from me is only about pencil. You get what I mean, right? And if I bring in another thing, you might be, I might be losing your curiosity and focus, because you'd be like, what is he talking about? I thought the topic is about pencil. I lose curiosity out there. I lose the right to talk about other things, right? But if I say, good evening, everyone, I would like to share a few things with regards to one of the most useful stationary items that is found in almost every institution, something that we've grown up with since our childhood days. When I do this, it arouses your curiosity because you start thinking, What is it going to talk about? What is it that we have grown up with since our childhood days, all across the globe? What is it that is found in every institute? I generate curiosity. Now, two few things happen here. When you become curious as my listener, I can see it on your faces, your facial expression, your body language. I can sense it. And when I see that people listening to me are curious, it gives me confidence. That affects my self confidence. That's one of the things. Number two, when I have your curiosity, it also gives me the confidence with in my next point. Number three, because I said one of the most useful stationary items, I have already I have already earned the right to talk about anything else that falls under stationary items. I can talk about pens. I can talk about rulers. I can talk about paper clips. I can talk about whatnot. So it gives me the content, the right to talk about other things, right? Other than pencil as well. You get what I mean? And when I say stationary items, I'm telling myself right here in my brain to think about stationary items. So it starts focusing on not just pencil, but anything that has to do with the category stationary items. And hence, I get quicker access to more, I would say, information, which is up here. Do you guys follow me? Are you guys with me? Are you guys confused? Because sometimes I do that to people. Instead of making them learn more, I confuse people as even more sometimes. So maybe I did that to some of you.
It's clear so far. Thank you.
Okay, so far? Okay. Tan A, are you confused or are you learning?
Yeah. I'm learning that. So I missed another part of the your class. You are talking. So because I'm saying, short. So and out of the internet access. So
No, it's fine. It's fine.
yeah.
No, it's fine. And every time one of you, uh, you know, your line drops, right? My heart skips a beat, you know, because I'm looking forward to every second with you guys. Because I don't know when I'm going to meet you guys again, right? Maybe until the military coup is over and we finally open some, office there. And I get to see Philip Theo also in person. I've never seen him in person. It's almost 2 years, more than 2 years now. We've never met in person. Yeah. So, well, I'm getting sidetracked. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So it's fine. We'll be sharing the link, but I hope you're with me. I guess Kazan, even though you also missed a little bit of it, you with me, right? You understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Okay. Fla, what about you?
Yeah, I'm getting
Oh,
you.
okay. Chiwin, I'm sure you are as well. Chiwin?
Sorry, my mic got some problem. Yeah, I'm following you well.
Okay, great. Okay, so what we want to do, the tool that we're going to use is something called categorization. Everything, guys, that you're going to talk about, maybe in front of your client, maybe in front of your directors, maybe in front of your business associates or your potential customers, whatever you're going to talk about can be categorized under two things broadly. One being man-made, artificial stuffs made by human beings. The other one being natural, belonging to nature. These are just the basics, okay, guys? These are just the basics. As we move on with our journey, you will understand the applicability of it. But in kindergarten, we started with ABC, and we only realized how useful ABC is now. So I want you to be with me and ask me questions when you want to ask. So everything in this world that we're going to talk about belongs to two categories broadly. One, man-made, the other one, nature. Let's say if you're going to talk about Mount Everest. What does it belong to? Mount Everest. It belongs to man-made, right? Well, Mat I smiled. That means she listened to me, right? Okay. Oh, yeah, Chiwin, I can see Chiwin smiling. The rest of you, I can't see. I can only see class, profile, video not on. That's fine. Yeah. So it belongs to nature, right? Um, it belongs to nature, Mount Everest. But what kind? So next thing is you want to zoom down on what is the subcategory. What does it belong to? We know it belongs to nature, but what does it belong to? Mountain range, right? A range of mountains. What kind of mountain range? One of the most famous. I probably would say the most famous mountain range in the world. Now, if I jump in the session, let's say today I'm going to talk about Mount Everest, and this is what a typical public speaker, a normal, I would say, public speaker would do. They'll jump and say, "Hi, everyone," with full energy and everything. You see, guys, about energy, I will tell you something about energy. It's a gimmick. Okay, energy is a part of it, but a lot of coach use this gimmick to attract trainees by saying public speaking is all about standing like this, you're jumping and I don't know, like lifting your leg, I don't know what, they make a show out of it, right? They'll put on suit and tie and they'll be like talking in American, British accent, they'll jump around, pace around, like, doesn't work that way. You understand what I mean? Body language is there and all of these things are there, guys, but that's just gimmick. Okay, I'll get to that as well. I'll get to that. Now, so what I was saying is, look, imagine if I come in and I say, hey guys, I'm going to talk about Mount Everest. What happens right there? When I say Mount Everest, everybody knows Mount Everest. You know Mount Everest. You don't have any curiosity because your mind is busy thinking about forming opinions about Mount Everest. You do not want to listen to me further. You want to make judgments about what I'm going to say next because you know Mount Everest. But if I say, hey, I'm going to speak about one of the most talked about, one of the most famous um, natural structures in the world, you'd be like, what is he going to talk about? You know what I mean? You wouldn't have the time, the space to form opinions or presumptions. You'd be like, what is he going to talk about? Okay, that's one thing. The next thing, if I say Mount Everest, I lose something. I lose the right to talk about any other natural structures or anything that belongs to nature because I said I'm going to talk about Mount Everest. And I have made my mind I've designed my mind to think only in one direction, and as I speak, I start losing words. I run out of words. I don't know what to say. That is the beauty behind categorization. So there are two things you need to do in categorization. You got to identify what is the category that your topic belongs to. Number two, you've got to identify what is the quality you can attach to that category. So for example, in case of Mount Everest, the category is what? One of the most famous natural structures on Earth. That's a category, right? Famous natural structures in the world, that's a category. What is the quality? Famous, right? So the category that Mount Everest belongs to is a natural structure on Earth. We attach a quality to it. What's a quality? Famous. Or it could be one of the most talked about, right? You understand what I mean? So categorize, attach a quality. When it came to pencil, what was the category? Stationary item. The category was stationary item. What was the quality we attached to it? One of the most useful or common stationary items. The more you do this, guys, the more you do this, the quicker your thought building process becomes. Your thought starts building up, it helps you. Trust me, okay? So this is what is happening behind the scenes when we talk about introduction. Typically, a lot of people will say, what? I know that. If you're going to give a speech, of course you're going to introduce your speech, your topic and everything. But as a true public speaker, you have to understand the science behind this. which is what I shared with you. Let's go to the next one. Before we go to the next one, okay, what do we see here? Elephant, right? We see an elephant on the screen. Okay, what do we see here, guys?
Mobile phone.
Mobile phone.
Yeah,
I
mobile
see a
phone.
hand as well. I see a hand as well, but let's forget the hand. Not needed. Mobile phone. Okay, what category does it belong to?
Electronic device.
Electronic device. Let's try to zoom a little bit further. Before we zoom,
Mobile phone.
I can hear. Mobile phone?
Yes.
No, it's a mobile phone. You have to identify the category. I know it's a mobile phone. What category does it belong to? Before we identify the most specific category, what does it belong to? It belongs to man-made item. If you
Man-made.
zoom in further, what does it belong to? Technology. If you zoom in further, it belongs to electronic device. If you zoom in further, what does it belong to?
Semiconductor. I don't.
Communication device.
Okay.
Right? We've identified the category. Now, the whole idea here is not to be too specific, okay? But if you become like too specific, then you're already almost as good as saying, I'm going to talk about mobile phones, right? So you got to stop somewhere, okay? So you want to be as specific as possible, not specific to the point that you already lose the curiosity of your listener. So I guess a communication device is actually a very good category because there's so many other communication devices, right? What's the quality we can attach to this category?
Portable and convenient.
Convenient, okay?
Yeah.
Let's choose better quality. Because if I say convenient communication device, everybody will be like, oh, iPhone, phone, mobile phone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
No, actually, convenient is a good word for the quality. But can we come up with something else that would arouse the curiosity even more? You can say it in Burmese as well. It's fine. You know, somebody can translate it. You know what comes to my mind? And I'm being honest here. It just came to me. It's one of the most misunderstood technological product, or one of the most misused technological product, or a communication device. That's the quality I'll attach to it. It allows you to create curiosity further. Are you guys with me? You know? Now compared to me walking into session and say, hi guys, with energy, okay? With all the gimmick, right? You can imagine me with the coat, suit, and tie. I'm speaking American, British, Australian accent. I am like full on energy. I say, I'm gonna talk about today, guys. Hi everyone, please raise your hand. I'm gonna talk about mobile phone, and the example would be iPhone. Versus I come and say, right, in my shorts and sandals, I say, hey everyone, good evening. I would like to share a few things with regards to one of the most misunderstood technological products used all across the world. There is a big difference. I inspire you to be curious. You understand, right? Great. Let's move on. So B, body. Typically people say, what are you talking about, Ding? Right? Do you think we are in kindergarten? What are you trying to teach us? I know body. Body is about the main content. Well, true. Congratulations. That's true. You're right. You get the right answer. But do you know what is happening right there in that section? In that part where you're giving the main content, you've got to understand the science behind it. And the science is trespass and relate. Now, I guess everybody knows here the meaning of trespassing, right? When you enter somebody's property without somebody's permission, the owner's permission, right? When you step into somebody's, I would say, garden without the permission, that's trespassing. Now, as human beings, when we communicate with strangers, when you communicate with people around us, we draw a boundary around us, an invisible imaginary boundary. And when people step and cross the line, we don't like it. Now, as a speaker, as a presenter, you have to earn that right. You need to trespass. Okay. Now, the next thing is relate. See, a lot of people, it's easy to say, okay? It's easy to say that communication and public speaking is all about relating to your audience and listeners. It's easy to say. To make that happen, you got to trespass. Now, it's even easier to gain trespass. Okay, I repeat, it's easy to say than doing. Okay, it's easy to say that you need to relate to your listeners. Um, it's actually even easier if you know how to actually relate, which is trespassing, and it's very simple. Everybody wants to listen to things. When you tell somebody something, when you share something with somebody, they want to hear what they want to hear. They want to hear what they want to hear. Okay? If they think that black is the most beautiful color, that's what they want to hear. Let's say if it was proven with statistical figure, etc., polling, everything, that white is the most beautiful color. Let's say the world said that white is the most beautiful color. But these five people that you're going to talk about or give a presentation on the best color, if they think that white is the best color, that's what they want to hear from. You gain trespass by starting with a point that you yourself might not agree with, but you start with this because majority of the people you're talking to would agree with that point. No matter how much you dislike that point, no matter how you disagree with that point, no matter how you hate that point, right? No matter how you're against that point, if you feel that this point is going to be agreed with upon, is going to be liked and understood by my listener at this point, start with that. That helps you gain the trespass. Okay? And it helps you relate. Do you get what I mean? Imagine going back to mobile phones. Okay. And let's say the topic is on technology or mobile phone or social media, let's say Instagram or TikTok. And let's say our listeners are full of people who are 60 plus years old. Now, what's the truth? The truth is that people cannot live without social media these days because of good reasons, because of business reasons, personal reasons, community building reasons, whatnot. And it is true, right? But if you start with a point like that, they cannot reciprocate because to them, they don't see the importance of that. You cannot gain the trespass, which means you can't relate to them. Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me? Right? So you want to start with whatever topic, you want to start with general belief. You follow it with your personal opinions. Now, your personal opinions could be backed up by facts. Your personal opinion uh, uh, could be could not be truer than nothing could be truer than your personal opinions. I would say about that topic, right? It's a proven fact, etc. But it doesn't mean that your listeners at that point of time would agree with it. It's not necessary that they agree with it. If you gain that trespass, you gain the rights to talk about or you express your personal opinions freely because you have gained the right to do that. Because you started with something that most people in the audience would agree with, right? So even if your personal opinion is going to be contradictory to what they think, they would be like, "Oh, it's okay. I don't agree with it, but Chiming is also making a point here. I don't agree with it. Kazan is making a point. That's the impact of body, right? So the next thing, when it comes to expressing your personal opinion, it's not just about what you think, all right? Every opinion has a story behind it. Every opinion has a story behind it. If I say black is my favorite color, there should be a story behind it. If I say the world is cruel, there should be a story behind it. If I say I want to wake up tomorrow and forget everything, my memory, I want my memory to be erased forever, there should be a story behind it. There is a story behind every statement, every opinion. So what is your story? This is the next level we're getting to. So you can see here, every story, the source of the answers that we give, the opinions that we express, the things that come out of our mouths. There are a few categories of our memories, but the three main categories are events, things that we've experienced, our success, our failures, maybe a competition we've been a part of, anything, maybe a concert, a rock concert, events that we've been in our lives, people that we've met, your mentors, your colleagues, maybe your cousin, or maybe your younger sister, maybe your daughter, maybe your son. I don't know. It can be anybody. People, the lessons that we learn from people. I wouldn't say lessons, I would say realization. There's a big difference between lessons and realization. Okay, so the realization that you get from people, right? Think about it, guys. I have made some important and crucial decisions based on just a brief conversation between myself and a stranger who shared the same bus or sorry, the taxi with me. You know, Uber Pool. Well, I'm not sure if Myanmar has that. Back in Singapore, I used to take Uber Pool a lot because I wanted to save some money, right? So every day when I take Uber Pool, I meet strangers who come from different industries and I talk to them. There was one time I spoke to this stranger. I've never met her in my life, and we just talked, and she said something that affected me in a very positive manner. I learned something in that short 15 minutes, right? And I made a decision based on what she told me. I didn't listen to my parents. I didn't listen to my ex-girlfriend, my girlfriend back then. I listened to anyone. I listened to that stranger. So this is important, okay? Things that we learn from people in life. The data from where? Movies, songs, social media, me, right? Your friends, all sort of things. Things that come out of our mouth. It's a big resource, the data, right? I'll be honest, I'll give you an example here. Uh, the very reason why I personally wanted to reach out to Myanmar and find a partner in Myanmar to, share valuable, priceless knowledge is because of this section, people. Because when I was a small kid, I met a lot of Burmese people. I grew up with them. That's how I knew Ngapi. That's how I know a few lines. That's how I know your culture a lot. And then when I was speaking to Philip, and I think he will recall this, that is the first story I shared with him, which inspired him. So what came out of me when it came to talking about building You Impact One Day, the story I gave, the source of information, the category of memory was people. Okay? So what's the story behind your personal opinion? Base it either on events or people or maybe data. Okay? That's one thing. So you got to have quicker access to these memory sections. There are more categories of memory that you can actually categorize your memories into different sections, but these are the three basic categories. The more access, the quicker access you can have to the most relevant events, relevant lessons that you learn from people, relevant data when you're given a topic right away, the better it is. And that's the first step. Somebody volunteer. What's the story behind this picture? Now, I want you guys to focus on these three categories. I want you to focus on events. It could be a hike. It could be anything. It could be a birthday party. It could be, I don't know, a cruise. You guys went on cruise together with your friends. It could be anything. I want you to focus on events. I want to focus on people. It could be a best friend, whoever you met in your life, whoever you meeting right now. It could be anything that you got, a data that you got from the movie, whatnot. It can be anything. But I want you to focus on these three categories, and I want you to volunteer and tell me what is the story behind this picture. There's no right or wrong answer. Everybody will have a different version. I wouldn't pinpoint anybody because everybody is working professional here. Can somebody take the leap of faith and imagine that your biggest fear is about to catch you if you don't volunteer?
I think, can I share?
Sure, Teza.
Sure.
Teza,
No, Could you mean? Yeah, sure. Go
Chimin?
ahead, brother.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
For I think this story is actually the story of the pictures is maybe after the COVID time, after the graduation ceremony, maybe they have
Right.
planned for the, maybe the three of the best friend plan for the graduation trip after their graduation before the COVID. Maybe there was that after the COVID, and they did something, like with their happiness and like celebrations.
Wow, wonderful, beautiful, beautiful. Kirin, thank you so much. And how did you come about that? I mean, was it from an event that you've been in, or was it from things, data? Which category, basically? Event, people, data. Which category did you pick?
Actually,
Data.
both. Yeah, data and both. Because we've been studying before the COVID time. Then we planned for this kind of event, but it didn't happen yet. Maybe then when I see about this picture, it's going to be us, like enjoying the trip.
Yeah, right. True. Thank you. So imagine if you didn't rely on one of those categories or a combination of those categories. Let's be honest, would you have taken probably a few seconds or a little bit longer to come up with a story behind this picture? Would you have taken a little bit more time?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so it's a simple solution, right?
Yep.
Thank you, Chiwin, for applying it. Anybody else? Chiwin, really wonderful answer, wonderful story, I would say. And thank you so much for applying it. Anybody else? It could be you guys. Yeah, all right, yes.
Yeah.
Nathan A.
Yeah. Yeah. So the story behind this picture, I think they enjoying maybe they are hiking trip with their friend. Yeah. I did, yeah. So they have a very like a enjoyable hiking trip with their friends.
Okay. Okay, that's short, but it's fine. It's fine. You're trying to gain access. So people, event, data. Which one were you? Sorry, it went off. My bad. People, data. Which one were you focusing on?
Yeah.
I just pulled the cable. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so I have to Oftenly, I have to have I have to go with my friend for the hiking
Okay.
before COVID. So we plan, yeah, before before COVID, before all pandemics,
Okay, so it came the section of cat memory that you chose was people, your friends. All right. Okay, good. That's a good start. Although your story could have been a bit longer. Okay. So let's do one thing, guys. Let this start up. Let's have a quick short break, and I'll be happy to listen to Hazar and Fla. What is the story behind the picture? Gives you a little bit more time to think as well. Okay. So probably see you guys in about 2 to 3 minutes time, and it's gonna get more and more interesting because after this we're coming to conclusion, and the biggest question for every public speaker or presenter is how do I conclude in such a way that it leaves that emotional and mental impact? I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. Okay. Grab a drink, grab whatever you need to grab. See you guys back in some few minutes. Hi guys, I hope everybody is back. Uh, so we're looking forward to Hezar and La to share what is the story behind the picture. What do they think?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, just my opinion. I guess that it was like an old memory, just a vacation trip to a beach with the best friend. And also, I guess at the time might be before the COVID time. Like that, it made me remember, when we went to the Muisang beach. Yeah, there is some range of the mountain, and also took to the hiking and seeing the sea. Also took the photo like that. So so make me remembering how we must freedom before the COVID pandemic. Yeah, and that's I guess the story. Yeah.
Okay, so you relied on events and a little
Yes.
bit of
Yeah.
people, a little bit of
Exactly.
people, right? People and events. Yeah, it's always a combination. It's always a combination between people or events and data and
Data.
people. That's
Yes.
right. Great, great. What did it make it easier for you to speak up, Teza?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
When you based it on a specific category of your memory, did it make you slightly easier? Did it make it slightly easier for you to express?
Yes, I talk so, but
Yeah.
sometimes a little bit difficult for relating, in good way and to be the
Mhm.
comprehensive. Actually, not too
Mhm.
difficult to extract. Just the
Okay.
difficulty is the connection. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say connection, when you say relating, right? This
Mm-hmm.
is something that in the next session I'll be taking you guys through. How do you actually relate one thing to another, which are otherwise, which are either completely irrelevant or indirectly relevant? You know,
Yes.
is this a
Yeah.
very basic thing right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
So
interesting.
okay, great. Fla, my friend,
Yeah.
what about you? What's the story behind this picture?
Um, for me, it is finally a trip with my friend is heaven. Um, because me and our friend are planned to go to the beach before the pandemic, and then when the pandemic happened, we didn't go to there, and then in 2022 we planned to go again, but it didn't happen again because of the Omicron. And then for me, this story say finally we go to the beach with with our friend. So
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Chimin, what was the center point of your story? Just to reconfirm, it was about pandemic, and what was it about? The key point.
The key point was actually like after the graduation before the COVID time, we graduated before the COVID time, but we planned to go for the celebration or graduation trip with the friends, but we didn't have a chance due to the pandemic. But after the pandemic, we are now we are we are celebrating, and I mean these pictures remind me of the like with our friends we are celebrating, like we finally make it.
Okay,
So
great.
yeah.
I would like to ask Philip or Robert, if you guys can hear me, Philip and Robert, whose story made the most sense and had the most value? Um, whose story? Who amongst our public speaker tried to gain access to a memory section that is not so related to what you see, because what we see here are three friends with backpacks and a beach and it's in front of the sea. It's very obvious that you think about a trip to the beach, a celebration, or whatnot, right? So taking into that account, whose story made the most sense when it comes to access to memories? Either Philip or Robert, you be the judge.
I guess they both are not here.
Oh, they're not.
Yep.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Let's be our own judge. Okay. Let's say Fla. Whose story do you think made the most sense? You can vote for yourself. It's fine. You can vote for yourself as well.
I mean, everyone can make sense, but I mean, yeah.
I would say who actually dug a little bit deeper into the memories, who actually tried to utilize the memories.
I
Slightly.
think good days are story. I mean,
Whose story? Sorry.
good days are days.
These are
Cesar. Okay. Okay, Cesar. Okay, fine. Cesar. Okay, no problem. Cesar, what about you? Would you vote for yourself or somebody else?
I think so everyone has different visions, so that's why I guess that everyone is so I think Coach Me and La, yes, they have the relevant story about the some sort of arrangement plan, and they get
Okay.
that. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, fine. What about Tantan A? Whose story made the most sense, taking into account what we've been discussing?
Yeah, so I think everybody also have a like a relevant memory, and also the relevant memory, and they also focus on data like COVID and COVID situation from here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. What about Kewin? What do you think?
Actually, I want to vote for everyone because I think, so there's no right or wrong answer to me. Everyone has their own story or their opinion, like you said.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so for the elaboration, because of like us is actually the second language, so we cannot elaborate more. But I think everyone has to find.
Right. Right. So what we've arrived here is all of you said that everybody has their version of the story. That's the most common answer. Get what I mean? That was the most common answer. That was the main thing you guys related to. Yeah. So you see the importance of gaining access to the most relevant data up here. Okay. Now let's change our entire story. This was a fairly simple picture. I'm going to show you something, okay? And then I want you guys to tell the story now. I want to show you something. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This. It's a stool. It's a plastic red color stool. Yeah. Stool. Useful. You can sit on it and do a lot of things. Let's create a short story that will make a lot of meaning. That will have a lot of value. Rely on events, rely on people, rely on data. You've seen it? This is what we're talking about. Somebody volunteer.
Hello.
Yep.
So actually, when you show about the chair, actually it's remind me of like our childhood time, when we would go to the tea shop and spend a lot of time together with our friends.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so
Great.
Yeah, it was the memory for me. So when I see the chair, even the same color, we were sitting on the
Oh, shit. Simple, the really cheap food, but you enjoy the food a lot, right?
Yeah,
Which almost, sorry.
sorry, for me, it's actually the moment with the friends,
Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
moment. It's cheap, but then the food is good because of the moment, But that brings us to one thing. It's a simple things. The fact in life is about enjoying the little things in life. The brain starts working that way. What if I show you this? What if I show you this? Yeah. What if I show you this? It's a piece of cloth, a towel. And if you wear a script writer, if you're going to produce a movie and you're a script writer, you're responsible for the script of the movie, and the producer or director says your source of information would be this blue color towel, a towel. What would you do? What would you start with? Slightly getting harder, right? To gain access to the relevant memory. Slightly. Okay, let me ask you, what do you use towels for mainly?
To wipe out sweat sometimes.
Wipe your face.
Yeah.
Wipe your face probably when you wake up in the morning, right?
Yeah.
You wash your face, you wipe it off, right?
Yes.
What does morning represent? A new beginning,
Yes.
right? What do you require when you want to have a new beginning? You want to wipe out all the bad memories or whatever, you want to wipe out what's in the past. You need to forget the past. So this is not just a piece of cloth, a towel. It represents new beginning. That is how you relate one thing to another, which otherwise are completely irrelevant. I mean, who would have thought that there is a relevance between towels and new beginning? Some people will laugh at you, right? Some people think like you're crazy, go to the mental hospital. But if you know how to justify the relationship between a towel and new beginning in the simplest way possible, that makes you a public speaker. Are you guys with me?
Yes. But sometimes I thought that when you're teaching, it's just my perspective. Okay, for example, when we say about the tower, okay, it's relating with the beginning. Okay, when you get to the same example, for example, we need to extract, you need to expand our information and what we can talk, but I accept it. But sometimes I feel, we are talking very indirectly, and sometimes it doesn't like the, exaggerating, for the thing, actually what we want to say, but, we expanded a lot. And for example, in presentation, sometimes if we were taught, very widely, and sometimes the audience asks me, hey, what is the point? So like that. So if we so shall we use that kind of projects and method every time, and is it very suitable for everywhere? Let me know your idea.
Okay, I know what you mean. You are asking, if I understood him, you guys can help me out as well, because I slightly had a difficulty in understanding you clearly 100%. Are you asking me, can we use this example of relating towel to a new beginning in your business presentation? Is that what you're asking me?
No, actually, yeah, okay, it's a tower, but we don't say directly, okay, not like tower very directly, yeah, just it is relating with our very first beginning of the day, okay, like that. So, we say every topic, every title, like in the previous exam, not directly, but sometimes in some presentation, we need to tell it very directly and very specific. If we were saying, if we were presenting like this, I think just it looks like exaggerate or it looks like a wavy something. So that's why for some sort of audience can be impatient. It is my opinion on how to think. So that's why shall we practice this kind of way in every word and every time. I'm just
No,
asking.
it's not okay. I got what you mean. I understand, and thank you for your question, Hazar. But this is more of quickening of your thought building process. So let me ask you a question. The last time when you gave a presentation, what did you struggle with? Of course, you don't practice this all the time, right? You don't want to be when you give a presentation, a business presentation, you don't want to be saying exactly what I'm saying right now to the audience, right? I know what you mean. This is not exactly what you do when you give a presentation. You don't say, oh, there's a towel and this is live. That's not what I'm trying to say, right? My question back to you is, when you gave a presentation the last time, what was it that you struggled with the most?
Actually, next presentation. Okay, if I was thinking that way, if I have enough time to probably, I think, not too much difficulty. But actually, my difficulty is to say exactly what I wanted to say, in
Okay,
Burmese
wait.
or
Your difficulty was?
Yeah, I cannot use the correct what, or sometimes I cannot say very correctly what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it didn't hit to the point what I wanted to say really. So this is my difficulty. Yeah.
Fine. Let me stop you there. Somebody, Chibin, Tatan A, Tla, he said his difficulty was not being able to say what he thought here. Yesterday, I mentioned in the class, I mentioned something about thoughts and words, a term. Anybody from the three of you remember that?
Random access memory, is it?
No. Yeah. That's kind of related. It starts with the letter S.
Memory, I think. Relevant memory.
Synchronize. Exactly, synchronize. Tezar, the problem is your thoughts and your words are not synchronized. It's not about Burmese, it's not about English or Japanese or Korean or Chinese.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So this is why it's important. The whole idea here, why we use that example of towel and new beginning, is to ensure that your thinking speed becomes faster, because when you can think faster, you can speak faster. What you write comes from here. What you speak comes from here. And the day when you're synchronizing what you think here and what comes out from here is when you overcome that problem that you're facing. So it is almost like learning ABC before you learn how to spell apple, before you learn grammar, before you learn nouns and pronouns. You get what I mean, Teza?
Yeah, I got you clearly. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for clarifying, right? Thank you so much for clarifying. Anybody has any more questions? Okay, I hope you guys are with me, okay? Thank you for your patience, guys. But this is important. This is important. If you are giving a presentation, think about it. It's 8:34, I'm so sorry. But if you're giving a presentation, it could be a work presentation, it could be a business presentation. The only thing you can expect are questions which you're not prepared for. The only thing that you should be afraid of. But if you're giving a presentation that requires only a little bit of preparation, then it's an easy job. The reason why we are afraid of presenting, the reason why we feel nervous and we can't express our points is because our thoughts and words are not synchronized. So we need to synchronize it first. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I showed you that picture, it was so easy for you to synchronize your thoughts and words because it's simple. It's simple. See a bunch of friends, bags, beach, boom, everybody said. Then I showed that plastic chair. Chibin said something because chair we're supposed to sit, but it was very meaningful, right? He talked about some childhood memory, or I showed the blue towel example, everybody got stuck. The point is to synchronize. Yeah, so we got to start with the basics. Look, guys, I can give you like structures of how to present. That will come the later part of the session. If you're giving a presentation on a report, we will give you in terms of how you're going to start, where you're going to continue, how you're going to end. But that's the easy part. That's the easy part. You know what I mean? Always, this basics will come in play. Okay. So Teza, once again, that was a really enlightening question, I would say, for all of us, right? So, and I hope I was also able to add a little bit of value to your confusion. I hope so. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
No, thank you so much. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the last part. In fact, I wanted to cover this many, but we couldn't. But that's fine. Okay. The last part is your conclusion, which is more of mental and emotional impact. Okay. Leaving the mental emotional impact when you complete your presentation, when you complete your speech. There are two frameworks you want to use here. It's a CR framework and the AR framework. Okay, it looks complicated. It's very simple. It's based on common sense. Now, when do you leave an impact on somebody? Whether it's an interview, whether it's a presentation, work presentation, business presentation, sales presentation, when you are inspiring them to think about what you said, when you actually make them remember you because of what you said. When do people remember what you said is how you ended. Okay, so in this state, what we're practicing here is giving a strong message. We've already given our opinion and we've already shared a short story. All of you gave pandemic and this and that challenges in life. You've shared the story. Now, from that story, what is the message that you want to deliver? A message that could be based on facts, which we already know are true, or fiction, which could be true, which are not necessarily true. Example facts, let's say in the CR framework, C stands for condition, R stands for results. There are two types of results. One is achieved results, one is desired results. Now, what is achieved result? If I say that I'm successful, let's say I'm a successful doctor. I am a successful doctor, let's say. That is a result that I've already achieved. In order to become that successful doctor, I'm pretty sure that I applied a condition. I might have worked hard, I don't know, whatever. I had a sleepless night. Now, if I say I want to become a successful person, that is desired result, which means there are conditions to apply. If I want to become successful, I must work hard, right? I must not care about what people think. Just an example. That's a CR framework. The ANI framework, action and impact. Every action has either a positive or negative impact. Now, if I don't prepare well for the interview, the impact is negative, which is chances are high I don't get the job. If I disrespect somebody, the impact is I could be disrespected. Negative, positive, whatever. So the idea is to end with a message, a proverb, based either on facts or fictions, using either of these. Now, when you do this, you give the listeners food for thought, which is you inspire them to think, right? They don't remember you from how you presented yourself, how you looked, how you sounded. They don't remember you for the vocabulary, the pronunciation, whatnot. They remember you from the story you say and how you ended it with a meaningful, a useful message that they could actually relate to and learn from. That is IBC. Okay. Now the slides that we missed out on are very easy actually. It's just some phrases in English that we can use when we want to start introduction. We will share the slides with you, so you can start with either of these, any of these phrases, right? So it's just some phrases in English that just help you, right? One of which is I like to share a few thoughts pertaining to whatever. These are nothing but phrases, right? Phrases that you can use in each step. Like for example, in the body part, you want to start with a point that everybody with mostly agree with or understand. So you can use maybe this phrase, the general belief is, or maybe you can use it is already, or the already known facts are, or we can say we all know. So it's nothing that is complicated. All of you are good in English here. It's a point, the phrases that you use when it comes to expressing your personal opinion. My favorite one is the third one, which is if you ask me according to what I know, okay, or if have experience. The conclusion, just nothing but again, phrases. Now, what is also important is your tonality and your energy. When I say tonality, which is going to be a separate class, it's about putting the stress on the right word. So if I say, I am feeling hungry, I say I'm feeling hungry, which is very different from I'm feeling hungry. I'm saying I'm feeling really hungry. That's the difference. Tonality. When you put the right stress on the right words, that also matters. We will come to that. The energy, when I say energy, it's not about speaking loud, it's not about the body language per se, it's not just about the whole gimmick behind a good presentation. The energy is about when you enter a room, if you guys might have felt this as well, it's about character, right? When you meet somebody for the first time, there is something called aura. Aura, you know what I mean? People who have character. In presentation and public speaking, you have to have character. That's what I meant by energy. People tend to misunderstand energy in public speaking with something else. Okay, so at the end of the day, this is why it's important. Why it's important to synchronize our thoughts and words is because everything is about effective communication, and effective communication is about bringing that harmony between our thoughts and the words that come out of our mouth. Being able to tell stories which have weight. Okay, structures are the easy part. Using terminologies are the easy part. You can learn it by yourself. But the psychology and the science behind communication is the difficult part. And what is difficult is building thoughts quickly, not speaking quickly. Building thoughts quickly, not speaking quickly. Because anybody can speak quickly with a bit of preparation and a story that actually doesn't have a lot of sense. But only very few people can speak without preparation and with a story that has an impact on people. Okay. So whether you're in management, whether you're in business or politics or interviews, or you're trying to get a promotion, it's important. Public speaking is important. Why? It's because you inspire people with the skill. Okay. So guys, I guess that's about it for tonight. Do you guys have any questions? Let me just turn my video off for a moment. Any questions, guys?
Not from me.
Hello. As I remember that you mentioned about the presentation for the next week, but you didn't say about anything for this.
Okay, the presentation to be done by you guys, right?
Yep.
Okay. What's going to happen is, first of all, we're going to share the link, yesterday's link, and any relevant link, because I think the record. Okay, so it is recorded right now as well. I can stop the recording. This recording